All right, so this is just a quick recap and review on three markets: gold, crude, and YM, starting with the YM. All right, so market here was in a downtrend. Is this the latest? Yeah, I think so. Market here was in a downtrend. Initial volume off the bottom came right here. This is a clear indication of buying. Clear indication that there's buying over here because it was a test of a higher time frame. And all this right here, this is definitely 100% a shakeout. Or you can call it climactic or whatever, but this is just a wick on a higher time frame. It's just a wick piece. A lot of times you'll see that it takes out a prior area, right, with the wick. Well, this is the wick. After that, accumulating on the way down, accumulating on the way up, having markup with a little bit of a higher high. And then market pulls back one, two, three. Unfortunately, it's only three-wave correction. It doesn't go down to the low because it's respecting the left-hand side. You see this? Left-hand side. See the right-hand side? They're exactly parallel. Sometimes it goes a little bit lower, sometimes a little bit higher, sometimes, all that. But this is like typical head and shoulder thing. But what's important about the head and shoulder is it has two elements. One is the climax, right? That creates the head. Can't get this shit. That creates the head, this inverse head. So this is the head. And on the right hand side, it creates the the change of behavior, the sign of strength, or the sign of weakness, depending on whether it's up or downtrend, is creating the sign of strength. So you have a climax followed by a change of behavior or strength or weakness. That's all it is. That's what the head and shoulders does. And forget the neckline and all that. It's what's in the head and shoulder. The head is always climactic, and the right hand side with that right shoulder has a sign of strength or sign of weakness. All right, and after that it goes up. All right. So what are the key takeaways? Key takeaways is that be ready for this. I thought this was the climax, and then this was the volume of the bottom, but it couldn't press. So did a shakeout, then went up. And that's about it. I mean, this was the selling pressure, this was the break, this was the retest, and puked. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Only problem is you can't really trade this because it's too high up. If you stop below the low, it's very difficult to trade. So I mean, the only chance you had at it was off of this low getting sprung, right? And even this I'd be cautious about because it, you don't. I mean, I want to lean on something like a pivot, and it's tough. This one's tough. All right. Anyway, let's move on to the next market. Go to crude. So how this market moves is going down. Oh, this was it. Uh, it was going down here. First of all, there's initial selling already. You can tell right here. That's initial selling. The rest is a move up, break, and then follow through. That's marked down. This is selling pressure, sign of weakness, and this marked down. And then it's just a matter of getting in. So and it keeps doing this until this, which is a very clear indication of sign of strength. Also, the other markets are correlated markets are going up. It has your not volume off the bottom, but breakout, heavy breakout volume. And then you have your follow through. Right there. That means it's establishing trend confirmation. And then it just pulls back to test, gets a nice entry and goes. right? This markdown here, there was some markdown attempt right here, right here. But unfortunately, like, it set up the very nice retest, right? But it didn't go, and it went 1, 2, 3, 5. It's like a 2 to 1, so maybe less or a little bit more. I don't know. But it's not good enough. So this was more of a break even, because this is an attempt to mark down, no question. Breaks the low, has follow through. I don't know if it has volume here, but whatever. But now what happened after that was that it broke even, went, based out, rallied. Yeah. This is very nice. Sets it up. The key here in both these cases, they have high volume buying and selling. You see here, look at the black right here. It's more volume than 100 bricks in there. So obviously, if it has fall through and higher high, it's going to go higher. Here, here you also have, look at that big red. So that's a break and a low low. You know, so this is going to go lower. It's marked down. You know, so this one also, like this one here, you see volume off the bottom is making a base, and then right here is where it's clean, right around right there. I consider that some type of confirmation, because it probed the high, and you had buying in the background. So buying in the background, follow through, and then higher high sets it up. In this case here, you have selling pressure, but it doesn't break. You know, but there's selling pressure here because they're selling across these highs. So all this is the up thrust across those highs. That's all it is. All right. And here it's also very nice. It's selling lower low, but it doesn't. I mean, it works, but it does up and up thrust of the high, and it's very difficult to trade because you don't know if it's a breakout. The only indication is that 0, and then it does 12. So I mean, that's the that brick has more volume than any brick in the up wave, and the correlated markets are also indicating that it's going to fail. So it's good. Anyway, let's move to gold. What the fuck? So here's really nice, because gold, what it did was it climaxed right here into the base, and it created a very nice formation, and you have buying on the way down, buying on the way up. This is actually buying on the way down, so at the best prices, and then buying on the way up. And then what happened was, right here, what you see is there's a lot of effort to go down, but it fails. Instead, it goes higher. Only problem is it didn't give that deep pullback. So, you know, I was looking for one more brick down and to get in, but it didn't. You have very clean breakout where right there. So it didn't pull back enough to give the whatever. But this is all accumulation right here to go higher, and it did. Second, then I ended, and also a correlated market, and then when it went up here, what happened? The volume off the top right there. I mean, you could call it climactic action. This is a climax. I use the terms interchangeably. Maybe I'll use the correct term. Anyway, so this is the correct term is that this is climactic, and after that you have selling pressure, and right here you enter some type of corrective markdown. I don't know if it's going to be a lot of markdown or all that, but it's difficult to say. All right. Anyway, we enter MD markdown, and it goes down. That's what happens. Let's see in the background. I don't see anything in the background. All right, now let's take a look at the high brick size. Gold, very bullish. Was at a test position, and it probably will retest. If it does retest, because this area is protected. I don't want to say protected, but accumulation occurred. Smart money was here. No doubt about it. Like all this, no doubt about this. So we want to see it pull back and see what it does in this area. It could really either spring it, test it, something in here. But there should be some buying pressure. And when it does, it's going to be in a very, very good position to rally. This is not going to be a 2-brick move. All right, I want to make that clear. And when it pulls back like that, bounces, and then the second test, the chances increase that instead of giving you one bar or 2-bar higher time frame, it gives you 4 or 5 or more, like a rally on the high time frame. Because on the retest is when the additional accumulation occurs, and it's very likely their line is filled. The line is filled of accumulation, which usually takes a retest or two. That's when the next rally ensues and you get a big move. So, I mean, you see this all the time. When you see a rally pullback, typically after the first pullback, it doesn't give a nice big rally. It pull back and then it consolidates with the ABC correction or some bull flag or bull pennant or bull wedge or bull coil, right? All of which have multiple tests, multiple, down, up, down, and then they go. So all of that is occurring. It's going to be really nice to see how this thing sets up and initiates. All right, so gold bullish. This is, I have no clue, but it looks like it's trying to spring. Oh no, this is wrong area. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that thing looks like it's just going up. The high volume is right here. So that's where demand overtook this supply. Because you see, there was supply. If you take a look at the rallies, 217, look at the supply, 341. It went all the way to the low. It fully retraced the low and tested, double bottomed. So why is it that down volume has more pressure than the up volume? There was selling here. Someone's selling this again. Oh, okay. So they were selling against this high, like in an up thrust position, but it didn't do anything. Instead, buyers came in and said, thank you for the volume. Let's make it fly. And this 12 is fighting against this 14. This 12, buying volume is taking out this 14. It's absorbing, so that's why it's high. And now they've taken it out. So we'll see what happens. But chances are that if it does pull back, it'll be right into this buying area. And we'll see if the buyers are still there to reabsorb or buy the pullback. Crude in big trouble. I know of folks saying whatever, but let me show you something. Who did this? Right there. See that? It's a clear indication that someone destroyed like the lows, or whoever's against all these lows, just totally whipped. I mean, this right here is biggest down volume in over 100 bricks, has followed through, creates the rally down, and has weak pullbacks. 249 down. What is the response? 64. What is the next response? A reattempt? 34. 249 down, and all you get is 64 and 34? Something's not right. So now let's see what happens around these areas. Maybe buyers step in, but chances are, there's sellers up here. and they'll step in. So be watching this for a. Anyway, I'll catch this. And what's really nice is that it's one test and then again two tests. So maybe up thrust position. So it's good that it's testing. It's not the first pullback, the multiple pullback. Okay, thank you. Have a good have a good day. Bye.